Most supercar videos rank cars by top speed or price, but speed and price aren't actually what makes a car impossible to own. Rarity is its own category, separate from horsepower and separate from the sticker number. Some of the cars on this list are worth less than a well-optioned Ferrari you could order today. They're just not for sale because there are only one or two of them on the planet and the people who own them aren't letting go. This is a countdown of the 10 rarest supercars ever built, based on actual verified production numbers, starting with number 10. Ferrari built the J50 exclusively for the Japanese market in 2016 to mark 50 years of Ferrari officially selling cars in Japan. It's based on the 488 Spyder's chassis and twin-turbo V8, but the body is entirely reworked. Sharper creases, a Targa-style removable roof panel, and aerodynamic details borrowed from Ferrari's track program. Ferrari built exactly 10, sold exclusively to existing Japanese Ferrari collectors who were personally invited to buy one, and the price at the time was reportedly north of $2 million each. Because the J50 never had a public order book and was never offered outside Japan, most of the 10 units have stayed in the same private collections since delivery. It rarely surfaces at auction, and when a J50 does change hands, it tends to happen privately rather than through a public sale, which keeps accurate resale pricing almost impossible to pin down. The Lykan Hypersport put Lebanon on the supercar map, built by W Motors and famous for the scene in Furious 7, where it gets driven through 3 Abu Dhabi skyscrapers. The real car is just as extreme as the movie stunt suggests. A twin-turbocharged flat-six engine producing 740 horsepower, a carbon fiber body, and headlights embedded with real diamonds, a genuine first for a production car. Only 7 were ever built, with a price tag that started around $3.5 million, and one of those 7 was purchased by the Abu Dhabi Police Department specifically to add to their fleet of exotic patrol cars used for tourist area visibility. With production numbers that low and most owners based in the Gulf, spotting a Lykan anywhere else in the world is close to a once-in-a-lifetime event. When Pagani decided to end Zonda production after nearly 2 decades, founder Horacio Pagani didn't just build one final send-off car, he built 5 and gave them personally to 5 of his most loyal clients and family members as a thank you rather than putting them up for public sale. The HP Barchetta is a roofless, windshield-less version of the Zonda, powered by a Mercedes-AMG-sourced V12 tuned to produce nearly 800 horsepower. Because these cars were gifted rather than sold through a normal dealer process, there was never a public price. Though when one did eventually surface on the open market, it changed hands for well over $2.5 million. It represents something genuinely rare in the car industry. A manufacturer building its most extreme version of a car specifically to give away rather than sell. McLaren built the original F1 as a road car first, and it turned out to be so good that a race version, the F1 GTR, ended up dominating the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1995, taking the overall win along with 3 more podium finishes. To celebrate, McLaren built 5 road-legal cars using the DAR-restricted racing engine and the GTR's downforce-focused aerodynamics, calling them the F1 LM in honor of that Le Mans win. Lanzante, the company that ran McLaren's Le Mans race program, handled the build and sold 4 in orange, matching the winning race car's livery, and 1 in a unique gray. With sales prices now regularly quoted north of $20 million when one does trade privately, and only 5 ever built, the F1 LM is considered by many collectors to be the single most desirable McLaren road car ever made. Long before Bugatti became known for the Veyron and Chiron, the company built what founder Ettore Bugatti intended to be the most luxurious car on Earth. The Type 41 Royale rode on a wheelbase over 14 feet long, powered by a straight 8 engine originally designed for an aircraft, displacing nearly 13 liters. Bugatti planned to build 25, one for every reigning royal family in Europe at the time. The Great Depression crushed that plan almost immediately, and Bugatti ended up building only 6 between 1927 and 1933, several of which sat unsold in the factory for years afterward. Ettore Bugatti himself reportedly crashed one of the 6. Today, surviving Royales are considered among the most valuable cars in existence, with the small handful still in private and museum hands rarely, if ever, coming up for sale. Koenigsegg originally announced a production run of 3 Trevitas based on the CCXR platform and powered by a twin-turbocharged V8 producing over 1,000 horsepower. The car's signature feature is its body, a diamond-weave carbon fiber that Koenigsegg developed specifically for this model, giving the surface a shimmering, almost crystalline finish under direct light. Trevita is Swedish for 3 whites, a reference to the original planned production number. The manufacturing process for that diamond-weave carbon fiber turned out to be far more difficult and expensive than Koenigsegg anticipated, and the company ultimately completed only 2 of the 3 planned cars. One was purchased by boxer Floyd Mayweather, who later resold his at auction for $2.6 million. With Koenigsegg confirming no more will ever be built, the Trevita's production number is permanently frozen at 2. Named after Rudolf Uhlenhaut, the engineer who led its development, this car began life as a closed-roof version of the 300 SLR race car that dominated sports car racing in 1955. Mercedes built 2 coupe prototypes powered by a 3-liter inline-8 borrowed almost directly from the company's Formula One program, but pulled its entire racing effort out of motorsport that same year following a catastrophic accident at Le Mans, and the Uhlenhaut Coupe never raced competitively at all. Both cars stayed in Mercedes' own factory collection for nearly 7 decades, effectively unobtainable at any price. That changed in 2022 when Mercedes quietly sold one of the 2 through a private auction for $142 million, instantly making it the most expensive car ever sold at any auction in automotive history. The second car remains in Mercedes' museum collection and is not for sale. Unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show in 2019, La Voiture Noire, meaning the black car in French, was built as a modern tribute to Bugatti's own Type 57 SC Atlantic from the 1930s, one of the most legendary and mysterious classic cars in existence. Bugatti built exactly one, powered by the same quad-turbo W16 engine used in the Chiron, wrapped in a hand-finished carbon fiber body that took a specialized team months to complete. At $18,900,000, La Voiture Noire became the most expensive new car ever sold at the time of its unveiling, a record that stood for years. For a long time, Bugatti didn't publicly confirm who bought it, which only added to the mystique. Reports have since linked the car to members of the Volkswagen Group's own leadership, though Bugatti has never officially confirmed the buyer's identity. Maybach built the Exelero in 2005 for an unusual reason. Fulda, a German tire manufacturer, needed a real high-performance car to test a new generation of tires designed for speeds over 217 miles per hour and commissioned Maybach to build a one-off platform to do it. The result was a 19-foot-long coupe powered by a twin-turbo V12 producing close to 700 horsepower, styled aggressively enough that it looked nothing like any other Maybach before or since. The car became far more famous than the tire test that created it, largely due to a starring appearance in a Jay-Z music video, and rumors for years suggested it had been sold to rapper Birdman for around $8 million, something that was later disputed and never confirmed. What's certain is that only one Exelero was ever built. It isn't for sale, and Mercedes-Benz, which owns the Maybach name, has never built anything resembling it since. At the very top of the list is a car Ferrari didn't actually design. In 2006, film director and car collector James Glickenhaus approached Pininfarina, Ferrari's longtime design partner, and commissioned a completely one-off body built on the chassis and drivetrain of his own Ferrari Enzo. The design pays tribute to Ferrari's legendary 1960s P3 and P4 endurance racers, blending vintage racing lines with Enzo-level modern performance underneath. Ferrari's own design chief at the time reportedly approved and even praised the project, which is part of why the PEE 4/5 is treated as a legitimate part of Ferrari history rather than an unofficial tuner build, despite Ferrari never selling it or building a second example. It's a single, unrepeatable car, one client's vision, one company's engineering, and one design house's craftsmanship, combined into a vehicle that will never have a second unit, because that was the entire point of commissioning it in the first place. Looking at this list together, the pattern is different from most rarity rankings you'll find online. It's not just about age. Bugatti's Royale from the 1930s sits right alongside Koenigsegg's Trevita from 2009 and Bugatti's own La Voiture Noire from 2019. Genuine rarity gets created a few different ways. Economic disaster killing a production run, a manufacturing process too difficult to repeat, a company gifting cars instead of selling them, or a single client commissioning something that was never meant to exist twice. If you want a follow-up video on where any of these cars are located today, let us know in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into the cars almost nobody gets to see in person.